All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We are back. Continuing with our look at the triennial Torah portion. We are, of course, in the book of Deuteronomy. We'll be looking today at Deuteronomy 29. Deuteronomy chapter 29, and our title for this portion is You Saw What He Did. You saw what He did. Okay, we're going to go ahead and look at the chapter. I think we'll just go ahead and read through the chapter, and then we'll go back. I have a few things that I wanted to kind of touch on within the chapter, but like I said, we'll go ahead and read through it. First, let me go ahead and put this up on the screen here. Go ahead and read, starting with the first verse there, nice and loud.
29 first. This says, "These are the words of the covenant which Yahweh commanded Moshe to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And Moshe called all Israel and said to them, You yourselves saw all that Yahweh did before your eyes in the land of Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. Your eyes saw the great trials, the signs, and those great wonders. But Yahweh has not given you a heart to know, and eyes to see, and ears to hear, till this day. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your garments have not worn out on you, and your sandals have not worn out on your feet. You ate no bread, and drank no wine nor strong drink, so that you might know that I am Yahweh your Elohim. And when you came to this place, Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, came out against us to battle, and we struck them, and took their land, and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh. Therefore you shall guard the words of this covenant and do them, so that you prosper in all that you do. All of you are standing today before Yahweh your Elohim, your leaders, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, all the men of Israel. Your little ones, your wives, and your sojourner, who is in the midst of your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, so that you should enter into covenant with Yahweh your Elohim, and into his oath, which Yahweh your Elohim makes with you today, in order to establish you today as a people for himself, and he himself be your Elohim. And he has spoken to you, and as he has sworn to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Jacob. And not with you alone I am making this covenant and this oath, but with him who stands here with us today before Yahweh our Elohim, as well as with him who is not here with us today. For you know how he dwelt in the land of Mitzrayim, and how we passed through the nations which you passed through. And you saw their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were with them, lest there should be among you a man or woman, or clan or tribe, whose heart turns away today from Yahweh our Elohim, to go and serve the mighty ones of these nations. Lest there should be among you a root bearing bitterness or wormwood. And it shall be, when he hears the words of this curse, that he should bless himself in his heart, saying, I have peace, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, in order to add drunkenness to thirst. Yahweh would not forgive him, but rather the displeasure of Yahweh and his jealousy shall burn against that man, and every curse that is written in this book shall settle on him. And Yahweh shall blot out his name from under the heavens, and Yahweh shall separate him for evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in the book, in this book of the Torah. And the generation to come of your children who rise up after you, and the foreigner who comes up from a far land, shall say, when they see the plagues of that land and the sicknesses which Yahweh has sent into you, into it, all its land is sulfurs, salt and burning. It is not sown, nor does it bear, nor does any grass grow there, like the overthrow of Sedom and Amorah, Admah and Seboyim, which Yahweh overthrew in his displeasure and his wrath. And all nations shall say, why has Yahweh done so to this land? What does the heat of this great displeasure mean? And it shall be said, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim, and they went and served other mighty ones and bowed themselves to them, mighty ones that they did not know, and that he had not given to them. Therefore the displeasure of Yahweh burned against this land to bring on its every curse that is written in this book. And Yahweh uprooted them from their land in displeasure and in wrath and in great rage, and cast them into another land, as it is today. The secret matters belong to Yahweh Elohim, but what is revealed belongs to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah.
All right, very good. So let us go back up here and look at what we have. Go back up to the top here. I want to concentrate for a bit here, verses 2, 3, and 4. Specifically where Moshe over here says that he called all Israel. He called all Israel, and he said to them, you yourselves saw all that Yahweh did before your eyes in the land of Mitzrayim. He's recalling to the people that there's something that they saw. There's something that these people are able to bear witness to. Back in Egypt, what he did to Pharaoh and to all his servants while they was in the land. He's bringing back to the attention of these people that they saw the trials, they saw the signs, they saw the great wonders. There's all these things that they seen over there. They saw the 10 plagues. They saw the things that the Most High did to the people, to their gods, to Pharaoh. All of these people experience the the miraculous deliverance that took place in Egypt. These people, of course, were the younger generation, but they still was able to see. Okay, it says right here, your eyes saw these things over here. But I wanted to concentrate on verse 4 for a bit here, where it says, but Yahweh has not given you a heart to know, and eyes to see, and ears to hear till this day. So they saw the things, they heard what was going on, but there's something more that is being manifest to these people over here. When Moses is speaking these words today.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was thinking about when we think about verse 4 in terms of is saying that Yahweh has not given them a heart to know. Is the Most High, had the Most High kept something from these people? Was he preventing something in this people, in the hearts of these people, so that they wasn't able to know and see and hear until just right now? Was he holding back something away from these people? Was the Most High controlling the hearts and the eyes and the ears of these people so that they didn't know and see and hear? Is that what we're looking at over here? When you think about the parents, when you think about the parents of the people that are actually going into the land, they became the followers, I should say, of the 10 spies who, convinced that former generation that it was too scary to go over. But the Most High, and we know because this is the end of the 40 years, the Most High punished Israel because of, the hearts of these people that followed after the bad report that these 10 spies had. So the 10 spies and those that listened to those 10 spies were punished. Yet Yehoshua and Caleb, they who saw the same things that the 10 spies saw, was able to have faith in their hearts. And so what I'm thinking about is when we look at this verse over here, verse 4, Yahweh has not given you a heart to know, eyes to see, and ears to hear till this day. What I'm asking is did the Most High, could we say that the Most High hardened the hearts of these people and softened the hearts of the other ones, Yehoshua and Caleb? Did he cause for those people to lack in faith? Because again, when you look at this verse 4, He said he has not given you a heart to know, and the eyes to see, and ears to hear. But the fact that these people's parents didn't have a heart to know, and the eyes to see, and ears to hear, when they saw what was in the land, it caused them to go against the Most High. And so when we think about, what this kind of causes us to, kind of know and understand, is that, based on what we see over here in verse 4, what is it that the Most High did or didn't do to these people over here? Where it says that he has not given you a heart to know, eyes to see, and ears to hear. Is he holding something back from these people? That's the question.
That's something they wanted.
What?
If you go in the back, it wasn't something they wanted.
You saying if he was holding something back, it wasn't something that they wanted. I believe that.
It wasn't something they wanted, no.
I believe that. That's kind of what I want to deal with, because if we say that the Most High then is kind of preventing these people from knowing, seeing, or hearing, if he's keeping them from being able to know or hear or see, so much so that an entire generation has to actually die in these wilderness for these 40 years. The 40 years in the wilderness was judgment. It was judgment because of a lack of faith. But are we saying that the Most High didn't allow for the people to have faith in him and then punish them as a result of it? I don't know that. But when I look at this verse 4, I just think that it's very interesting the way that we see it here in terms of him not giving you, it says Yahweh has not given you a heart to know, eyes to see, and ears to hear. It's interesting when we think about, let's see if we go down. Read again for us, verse 18.
Lest there should be among you a man or woman or clan or tribe whose heart turns away today from Yahweh our Elohim to go and serve the mighty ones of these nations, lest there should be among you a root bearing bitterness or wormwood.
He said, lest there be among you someone whose heart turns away from the Most High. And so we have this idea of, first of all, verse 4 talking about the Most High giving these people a heart, eyes, and ears in one breath. And then over in verse 18, it talks about these people having control of their own hearts and causing their hearts to turn away from the Most High. And so I'm saying that when we think about these things, the way in which we think about the Most High, because of who he is, because of the character that he possesses, it causes him to be able, and I'm saying be able, to operate a certain way. And we're able to know how he operates, and we're able to understand the things that he does based on who he is. And so if we say that the Most High said, well, these people, I'm not going to allow for these people to know, see, or hear, and then I'm going to punish them as a result of it, we have to think about the character of the Most High if that's what we're going to say that he was doing. When we think about the idea, say for instance, of the Most High hardening the heart of Pharaoh. I don't know what the difference between him hardening Pharaoh's heart and giving these people a heart to know and see and hear. Whatever these things mean, I feel like they have to mean the same thing.
Yeah.
But again, if we think about, Pharaoh, if we think about these people, if we think about the people who perished in the wilderness, again, the wilderness was judgment. And so, or do we say that the Most High judged these people based on what he made them do? He didn't give them a heart, and then they, in the hardness of their hearts, because he never softened it, he never gave them anything, a heart or eyes or ears, and then he judged them as a result of it. I want to look over at Deuteronomy. I want to add to what we're thinking about, because I'm saying that the Most High gives people what we want. He gives us what we want. If we want him and the things that are associated with him, he gives us those things. And Yehoshua and Caleb are a perfect example. They went over there just like the 10 spies went over there. They all saw, all of them saw the same thing. But there was 2 of those people over there who was able to have faith in the Most High, and they were able to maintain that faith regardless of the things that they saw over there. But I want for us to consider for a moment the character of the Most High, because we have a perfect verse that helps us to understand who the Most High is, which will help us to understand that the Most High is not out here setting us up, causing for us to go against him purposefully, but we move according to the way that we want to move inside of our own hearts. So let's look over here in at chapter 32, verse 4. Read Deuteronomy 32. Read verse 4 nice and loud there.
The rock.
Read 3 and 4.
For I proclaim the name of Yahweh. Ascribe greatness to our Elohim. The rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are right ruling, and L of truth, and without unrighteousness. Righteous and straight is he.
Okay, very good. So we're able to look at just this one verse here, verse number 4, and gain a lot of understanding as to who the Most High is, the character of the Most High, what we can count on the Most High doing. Just based on this verse over here, verse 4. Let's look at this. First of all, he's a rock. Okay, so when we think about a rock, that gives you the idea of stability. That gives you the idea of firmness. If we think about, this word here, rock, when we see this over here, the Elohim of truth, the El of truth, that word here, let me see where I think it's Emunah, which, really can be synonymous in ways to rock. But let me pull up this. Oh wait, let me just do this. L of truth. Yes, Emunah, firmness, security, right? Stability, steady. Okay, so again, when we think about the fact that the Most High is the rock, right? He is Emunah. He is security. He is stability, steadiness, right? All of these things are true about the Most High. His work, the things that he is doing, his acts and his deeds are perfect. The Most High's acts and deeds are perfect. And so we're not able to look at things that the Most High does. We're not able to look at things that the Most High has done and say there's some issues. There's some issues with what the Most High is doing. Right? We're not able to look at the Most High and look at his actions and his deeds and say, put his acts in question, right? Because his ways, it says, are perfect. They're perfect, right? Here, let me see this here. That word means that his ways are without blemish. His ways are perfect. They're full. They're complete. They're sound. They're without spot. Right? We can look at the things that we say or the things that we do, and we can say, oh man, there was a little bit of funny business with, what I saw so-and-so or such and such doing over there. But when we think about the Most High, his ways, it says his work, his acts and deeds are perfect. Okay? So how can we, at the same time as saying that his acts are perfect, at the same time say that he's out here setting people up for failure? That's not what he's doing. He gives you exactly what you want. Just like he said over there in what we just read in terms of think about verse 18 of Deuteronomy 29, where it talks about if your heart turns away. If the people desire to have a heart towards the Most High, then he's going to bless that desire that the people have. If the people don't want to have a heart for the Most High, then he's going to go ahead and let these people just be where they are. And so I'm saying that understanding the character of the Most High helps us to understand these other verses where it seems like we could potentially think, well, he's keeping these people from believing, or he's keeping these people from understanding or seeing. I'm saying if we say that, then we're saying that the Most High is less than perfect, and his word tells us that his works, his deeds are perfect. And so there's a discrepancy there. It says over here that for all his ways are right ruling. All his ways are, the King James says judgment, but the scriptures use the word right ruling in regards to, let's see here, that word there is mishpat. Mishpat. And it deals with the way in which the Most High judges or rules. It deals with his pronouncements, the sentences that he makes. Let's see what we have over here. Jeremiah 17:10. What does it say? I, Yahweh, search the mind. I try the heart, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doings. Yes. When we think about the way that the Most High deals with us, his people, he deals in right ruling. His judgments are right. When we look over here at this, still looking at Deuteronomy 32 and 4, it says that he is without iniquity. It says that he is without iniquity. The Most High is. Let me click on this here. He's without evil. He's without perverseness. He's without unjustness. He's without unrighteousness. He's without wickedness. The Most High is. And so his dealings can't be sprinkled with unjustness and unrightness and wickedness, because he, in fact, in who he is void of these things. And so again, we have to think about that when we're trying to understand what it means whenever it says, yet to this day Yahweh has not given you a heart to know, eyes to see, and ears to hear. Not because he's keeping you from something, not because he prevented these people from anything, but because in their heart of hearts they didn't want to know, see, or hear. That's what happened. And so again, we think about the Most High and the way in which he deals with people. We have to think about his character, who he is, before we go and start to say things that he did or didn't do. Because we, in our misunderstanding of the character of the Most High, can be put in iniquity in the actions of the Most High. Let's see what we got over here in these comments. Over here. What does it say? Delight thyself also in the Master, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. I believe that. I believe it because that's what the Bible says. These people, when you have a desire for the Most High, he blesses you in that desire.
Yep.
But if you don't have a desire for the Most High, guess what? I'm not going to say blesses, but he rewards you in that. If you don't have a heart for the Most High, then he's going to allow you to keep that heart that you don't have for him. Right? Because he does, in fact, give us the desires of our hearts. He wasn't holding nothing back. In fact, we can see over here when we think about what was going on in Deuteronomy chapter 29, the Moshe, the things that he's saying, he's talking about what they saw over there. He's talking about the fact that, you saw all these signs and wonders. If anything, he was giving these people a reason to believe in who he was and to fortify faith inside of these people. But because of the fact that these people, for the most part, possess cold, dead hearts, then they wasn't able to accept these miraculous signs and wonders that the Most High gave these people every opportunity to follow after him. And so again, the Most High, again based on Deuteronomy 32 and 4, the Most High, who all his ways are right ruling, he's an El of truth, he's without iniquity, he's without unrighteousness. Righteous and straight is he. Tzaddik and Yashar is he. Right? Upright and just is he. When we think about justice, let's see what Webster's dictionary says about justice. Let's see. The virtue which consists in giving everyone what is his due. Practical conformity to laws and the principles of rectitude in the dealings of men. Impartiality, equal distribution of right, fair representation, equity. Equity. That's an interesting word. Equity, justice, right, justice, right? These are kind of synonymous with one another. But when we think about the Most High, who is in fact just, right? Who practices justice, who practices impartiality. What if the Most High required for his people and Israel and Israel's judges to function in right ruling and impartiality, but he himself didn't do the same thing? Right? When we look over at Yeshua and what Yeshua had to say about the I almost called the people the hypocrites. What he said about the Pharisees, the problem that he had with the people was that the great hypocrisy that existed within them. Is that they were supposed to be the teachers, the keepers, the protectors of the law, statutes, and commands, and yet the way in which they lived their lives didn't agree. They was hypocrites. Yeshua, we just was reading last week about, I think it was last week, when we was talking about the beam in your eye and the speck in somebody else's eye. These are all thoughts that cause us to think about straightness and right ruling. The Most High is not going to put a standard on his people that he's not in line with himself. And so again, when we think about what's going on over here in Deuteronomy 29 and verse 4, talking about the idea of Yah giving these people a heart, eyes, and ears. Again, this is not to say that he's holding back a heart, eyes, and ears from the people. He's giving these people, exactly what these people want. He gave Pharaoh what he wanted, right? Okay. We have to think about this. Let's take this all the way back. Let's think about for a moment the condition of man. We know, I've said this many times, and people with children know better than anyone else. You don't have to teach children how to be bad. You don't have to teach them, because we, as human beings, are selfish little beings. That's our default, selfishness, right? That's our baseline, right? It's selfishness. We have to teach humans, little humans, how to be sharing and caring and loving, right? We're born into this situation which brings about sin inside of us. I don't like to say that we're born in sin necessarily, because sin is an action. And so, but what I would say is that we're born with a propensity to sin, and as soon as we're able to think or move, we bring about, we manifest that propensity. And so again, when we think about the idea of the Most High and how he operates, when we think about let me see, this is John, John chapter 3. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. John. Let me just pull up John chapter 3. I'm going to find a verse. John chapter 3, verse. Hold on 1 second here. '18 and let me put it up on the screen here. Find my cursor. There we go. John. Read verse, let's see. '18.
He who believes in him is not judged, but he who does not believe in him is judged already, because he has not believed in the name of the only brought forth Son of Elohim.
There's something that we must do to cause us to be in a place of rightness with the Most High. Our default is judgment. Our default is condemnation. Right? That's where we're already at. Right? That's where we're already at, is in a place of condemnation. Right? Because by the time we're able to do anything, the thing that we do is things that don't exemplify the character of the Most High. We have to learn what the character of the Most High is and walk accordingly. Again, if we go back to Deuteronomy, 29 and think about again this thing that the Most High is doing. Think about what he's doing or isn't doing. We cannot say that there's things that he's holding back from these people, but again, because that's not in his character. He gave these people every opportunity, more than every opportunity, to come and follow after him and develop a faith, a strong faith in him. But because of the hearts of the people, they end up being again out in this wilderness for this 40 years. But again, if we understand the difference, in the ones who we know of that were in fact steadfast in faith, the difference is that these people desired to be close to the Most High. They had a heart and a mind to follow after the Most High, and then they weren't counted with these ones that manifested their cold, dead hearts. And so I wanted to look at real quick, I wanted to go over to, because we're still talking about this idea of the Most High withholding things from people. I'm saying that the Most High isn't withholding anything from anyone. We in our own minds, either want or don't want what it is that he has to give us. And then the Most High deals with us accordingly. Again, if we just look at what the Most High did with Israel in the wilderness, he makes a case for himself over in the chapter.
Yep.
Right? Your eyes, you people, saw great trials and signs and great wonders. You seen all of the things. There's no excuse. You went through these 40 years and your clothes didn't wear out and your sandals didn't wear out. But at the end of the day, we have to understand that from a principle standpoint, we cannot, you never will be able to understand spiritual things, if you're in a carnal mind state. Let's look over at 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 2. Start reading at verse, hold on. Start reading at verse 6.
Yet we spoke wisdom among those who are perfect, and not the wisdom of this age, nor of the rulers of this age that are being brought to naught. But we speak of the wisdom of Elohim, which was hidden in a secret, and which Elohim ordained before the ages for our esteem, which no one of the rulers of this age knew. For if they had known, they would not have impaled the master of esteem. But it has been written, eyes have not seen and ear has not heard, nor have entered into the heart of man what Elohim has prepared for those who love him. But Elohim has revealed them to us through his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all matters, even the depths of Elohim. For who among men knows the thoughts of a man except the spirit of a man that is in him? So also the thoughts of Elohim no one has known except the Spirit of Elohim. And we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit that is given from Elohim, in order to know what Elohim has favorably given us, which we also speak not in words which man's wisdom teaches, but which the set apart Spirit teaches, comparing spiritual matters with spiritual matters. But the natural man does not receive the matters of the Spirit of Elohim, for they are foolish to him, and he is unable to know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he who is spiritual discerns indeed all matters, but he himself is discerned by no one. For who has the known mind of Yahweh? Who shall instruct him? But we have the mind of Messiah.
Okay, very good. So when we think about these spiritual matters, right, the fact that the Most High is who he is, and the fact that he deals with a particular people, it don't matter, what it is that the Most High has done, miraculously or otherwise. If we are not seeking to be connected with the Most High from a spiritual perspective, then we're not going to be able to understand the things in which he does. And so we see a perfect example of that when we look at Israel of old, and we go over to the things that Moshe is explaining in Deuteronomy, and even as he's saying it, he goes through and says, look at all of these things that the Most High has done, and still there's going to be people whose heart is still going to turn away and follow after other gods, because those people don't have a heart for the Most High. Not because the Most High is saying that, this one or that one isn't worth anything, or I like this one better than that one. But when we look over and understanding the way that the Most High operates, He's chosen us. It says in Romans that He chose us based on His foreknowledge. He chose us based on His foreknowledge. What do it say? Start reading at verse 27 right there.
And he who searches the hearts knows what the mind of the Spirit is, because he makes the intercession for
Hold on one second. Okay, read that again.
It says, and he who searches the hearts knows what the mind of the Spirit is, because he makes intercession for the set-apart ones according to Elohim.
Again, he who searches the hearts. He looks at our hearts and gives us what it is that we want.
Yep.
What did it say? 28.
It says 20. And we know that all matters work together for good to those who love Elohim, to those who are called according to His purpose.
Because
those whom He knew beforehand, He also ordained beforehand to be conformed to the likeness of His Son, for Him to be the firstborn among many brothers.
Okay, so those whom He knew beforehand are the ones that He ordained beforehand to be conformed to the likeness of His Son. He chose you because He knew you beforehand and knew that you was going to make the right decision. He knew what you was going to do. That's why He chose you. Likewise, He knew what these other people was going to do, and that's why He didn't choose them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at these things that the Most High does, we look at the things that the Most High does, He does His choosing based on what He knows about you and I. And so again, the Most High wasn't holding nothing back from these people. Right? He wasn't keeping these people from having a heart, or keeping the people from having eyes or ears or what have you. He was simply giving the people what it was that they actually wanted. And those people who did in fact have a heart, who was able to be receptive to these things, then those ones of course are able to be enlightened by the Ruach HaKodesh. But he said in verse 8, if we go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 2, where it says, which no one of the rulers of this age these people, for the most part, not able to understand because they're not connected from a spiritual standpoint.
Mm.
And so again, when we see the difference between those who fell as a to the judgment in the wilderness and those who didn't, the ones who didn't were the ones who were connected to the Most High.
Yep.
You know, I feel like when we sometimes, the Most High has, he wants for his people, Israel, to talk about his goodness, to spread the gospel of the Most High. But we have to understand that when we speak spiritual things, if a person in their heart, isn't seeking after the Most High, then it don't matter what it is that you say to that person. It's not going to mean anything to them. It's going to be, in fact, foolishness to them. He said, where do we see this at over here? Verse 14, the natural man does not receive the marriage of the Spirit of Elohim, for they are foolishness to him.
Mm.
He's not able to know them because they are spiritually discerned. You know, we have to understand that unless someone is able to come to Messiah, first and foremost, understand the place where we are outside of Messiah, and understand that we're in the middle of an ocean without a life preserver, and Yeshua HaMashiach is in fact that life preserver. We was just down here in the ocean just a few days ago. In the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean. And those waves, when they sit up there and they come and hit you, and you standing in the ocean, them things will knock a grown man down. Those waves will. Though you are at the mercy of those waves, even when you're on the shore standing up. And so imagine being out in the middle of the ocean where you can't stand. There's only so much swimming that you will be able to do when these big waves and currents come along and push and pull you where they want you to go. Mm. And we have to understand that outside of Messiah, that is the position really that we are in. Yeah. Where you are helplessly lost. There's nothing that you're able to do to become unlost unless you accept the saving power that Yeshua has to offer to you. Mm. You know, it's like unto you being out in the middle of the ocean without a life preserver. But the same thing is true when we think about understanding spiritual matters. Mm. If you don't have a heart for the Most High, then you're not going to be able to understand those things which He has to offer.
Yeah.
Again, we think back to the people going in, the spies going into the land. You could see the difference. You could see the difference between the ones who had a heart for the Most High and the ones who didn't. Joshua, Yehoshua, and Caleb, they was ready to go and fight.
Yep.
But the majority of the people wasn't, because they were not able to discern spiritual matters.
Mm.
Okay, so let's keep on going. Let's go back over to Deuteronomy 29. I just wanted to bring that up because, because of verse chapter 29, verse 4. This idea of the Most High giving these people a heart. Again, we have to understand the character of the Most High and know that all of these people had the same opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? But because of the hearts of these people, that's, what caused them to be in the position that they was in. And the same thing is true for you and I. When we, each one of us have to get to the place where we're able to take an honest look at ourselves, understand where we are, and understand our dire need for Messiah in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's drop down to verse 10. Read again for us. 10, 11, and 12.
Says, all of you are standing today before Yahweh your Elohim, your leaders, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and your sojourner who is in the midst of your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, so that you should enter into the covenant which Yahweh your Elohim, and into his oath which Yahweh your Elohim makes with you today.
It's interesting when we look at this, as Israel is readying themselves to enter into the land, and kind of the newness, I would say, of the way that Moses is even speaking these things over here, as if like he's facilitating this ceremony, right? All of you are standing here today, and you're about to be held accountable for this covenant, right? And this oath that the Most High is making with you, even just right now. It's interesting because when you think about the timeline, it seems like the covenant was made with the people at Sinai. It's when you think about it, but it's almost as if they're, because of the way that the people that was actually there at Sinai, considering the fact that we're at this 40-year mark, and that people's actually gone, and we have this new group of people that are actually going over into the land. It's almost as if there's like this reset moment that's going on over here, as they begin to go over into the land. And so it's interesting that when we see this, where I want to look at this Look over here at verse 10. Where Moses is saying, all of you are standing here before Elohim. Hold on 1 second. Pushed the wrong button here. Here we go. Not sob. To station. Right? When you think about a station, you think about something that is in place. Right? If you think about a radio station, there's a place on the dial where a particular station is. And that's where it is. That's where it's going to stay, and it can't be moved. This word means something that's appointed. A deputy. Right? Deputy is interesting because a deputy is someone who moves about on the delegated authority of the sheriff. Right? The sheriff gives the deputy his powers, I should say. And he goes around and represents the sheriff wherever he goes, right? And so again, we think about this idea of a station, something appointed, something that is erect, right? Something that has been reared up, something that has been established. Moses is calling for these people. He's not only just talking about the idea of them just standing over there, like on their feet, like standing up. But that these people literally have to be stationed, appointed, standing in the character of the Most High. Standing in that which the Most High has made available for them to go and be, and for them to be able to be faithful to this covenant, this oath that they're making. And so this is something that we, each and every one of us, has to get to the place in our lives of at some point in time, understanding that we must in fact be fortified in this covenant that has been established in our hearts and in our minds. So and understanding that this is something that is forever. This covenant that we enter into is not for play. Right? This thing is forever, and we have to be fortified in this covenant and this oath that we make. And that's why it's so important that when we think about, again, the differences between Yehoshua and Caleb and the rest of the spies, when we think about the ones that stood before Moses at this time that were getting ready to go over into the land, understanding that there was something that differentiated the one from the other. That's why they're able to even go over into the land in the first place. But we today likewise have something in us that differentiates us. We have something inside of us that allows for us to be able to go over into the land And we have to be sure that we are standing firm in that thing that seals our oath and covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing for us, again, is Yeshua HaMashiach.
Mm.
If we look at Deuteronomy 29, Moses is calling for these people to stand firm.
Yeah.
He's calling for them to be established in their hearts and in their minds, because they, over the 40 years, witnessed that there's people that didn't make it. And so and Moses is talking to these people as they're about to go over, and he don't make it over into the land.
Mm.
And he's standing here as he's talking to these people as they're standing there, causing them to know that you have to recognize and understand this oath and this covenant that is being made with you, and you need to treat this thing accordingly and understand the weight and severity that goes along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Too many times, there's people who kind of take this thing and don't treat it with the weight and severity that this deserves. But this life, this is very serious, and again, it takes the connection that the Most High offers to us and has made available to us through His Son Yeshua, through the Ruach HaKodesh in our hearts, transforming our hearts and minds so that we're able to be those that are able to understand these great mysteries that He's given to us. Here, read again this last verse in this chapter here.
It says, the secret matters belong to Yahweh our Elohim, but what is revealed belongs to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah.
It's interesting when we think about this from a kind of a new covenant perspective, right? Because there was something that was given to these people, at that time as they began to walk over. In that covenant, seeing the things that they saw, and Moses, putting their feet to the flame and causing them to know that, you're responsible for these things.
Yeah.
But we have to know the same thing is true for you and I. When we get to the place of understanding who Yeshua is and what He's done for our lives and accepting Him into our hearts and allowing for the Spirit to change us and mold us and shape us and lead us and guide us, as we see over here in this verse, the secret matters. These are the secret matters.
Yeah.
These, in fact, are the secret matters. The idea of the Spirit coming and dwelling on the inside of us and changing us and causing us to walk in His ways. We're able to see when we look back at ancient Israel, that it was necessary for there to be something more, something greater, because those people, even though they saw these magnificent, wonderful things, they still wasn't able to be solidified in their faith. I'm saying as a whole. We have one or two individuals that we're able to look to, but we're talking about as a people as a whole, they was unable to do it.
Yeah.
And so because of the fact that we wasn't able to do it, the Most High made a way for us to be able to be joined back to Him. But we have to, inside of ourselves, accept this precious gift that the Most High has given to us, and seek to walk this life of light out.
Yeah.
Okay, let me drop down here. I want to go back up. Read for us again. Read 14 and 15.
14 and 15 says, and not with you alone I am making this covenant and this oath, but with him who stands here with us today before Yahweh our Elohim, as well as with him who is not here with us today.
It's interesting when we look at this again, thinking about this again, this ceremony, if you will, that is going on, where this covenant is being made with the people that are there and with the people who's not there. Right? It's kind of this collective national thing that happens, that's set into motion, and as people come along, they're able to kind of join themselves to the situation.
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of like unto what it is Yeshua has done for us. He died already. Right? He had that moment where he died, where he was the sacrifice for your sins. And he don't keep on doing it. Right? He made a covenant. He provided a covenant and an oath for his people to join ourselves to at that moment. And we're always able, to come along and join ourselves, as, the future generations to this covenant. Right? Just like what we see over here with Deuteronomy 29 and 16, for how we dealt in the land, verse 15, but with him who stands here with us today before Yahweh, our Elohim, as well as him who's not here. Right? He made this covenant with the people who standing there, and he also makes the covenant with the future generations as the future generations come along. This, we said this many times before, but a major part of what it is and what it means to be Israel is for us to be able to multiply ourselves, right? Whether it be with our natural family, or whether it be those that we're able to bring along into the knowledge of the truth. this is the actual purpose of our whole entire lives as Israel. Is for us to be able to not only be rejoined with the Most High, but also bring along whoever else is willing to come and be joined to the Most High, bringing us all back to Him.
Whosoever will.
Yes. Whosoever will. And so when we look over here at the admonishing that Moses gives to these people. Again, this is something that we too experience even till this day. We join ourselves, to Messiah. We accept the thing that He's done for us. We begin to walk in the will and the ways of the Most High. But that don't take away from the fact that we live amongst these nations where there's all of these ever-present opportunities for us to go and follow after these things that are contrary to the will of the Most High. And yet and still it's necessary for us to remain steadfast and continue to be the men and the women that the Most High had caused for us to actually be. It's interesting that, again, when we get down to 18, we talked about this verse already, we read it again, where he's talking, to these people, warning these people, if you in fact allow for your heart to turn away from the Most High, there's this penalty, these curses that will in fact come upon you. He said, read 19 again.
And it shall be, when he hears the words of this curse, that he should bless himself in his heart, saying, I have peace, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, in order to add drunkenness to thirst.
It's interesting that when we look at this, it's almost as if Moses is talking to these people and saying, there's going to be these things that are going to try to draw you away, and perhaps your weak heart may give in to these things. But he said, when you hear the words of this curse, that you should bless yourself in your heart. In other words, he's seemingly equipping the people with tools to help them to be able to overcome falling short with the oath and the covenant they're making over here today. And again, thinking about this in regards to us as being, part of this renewed covenant, understanding that, this life that we live, we should expect pitfalls, right? We should expect for things to be going on that's going to try to entice us, that's going to try to trip us up, that's going to try to bring us over to the other side. But we have to be able to understand the strength that Yeshua has made available to us and be able to lean on the Ruach HaKodesh and understand not only the blessings that will be upon us when we are able to remain faithful to the Most High, but also understanding the problems that we would be creating for ourselves if we were to go astray. And I'm saying problems, kind of oversimplifying the situation. But at the same time, understanding that, we, at the end of the day, have to, we'll all be accountable for, our life, the decisions that we make. He's given us the opportunity, just like he gave these people every opportunity. Moses is recalling to them all of the wonderful things that they've seen the Most High do. And, we may not have seen all of the things that they're referring to, but in your life, if you have had any dealings with Yeshua HaMashiach, he has performed a miracle or two in your life. And it's necessary for us from time to time to look back at the things that the Most High has done for us, where he's brought us from, to keep us on the path. Because sometimes we do get complacent and forget the things that the Most High has done for us. And it's helpful. This is what Moses is doing. He's getting these people ready to go over. He's causing them to remember, first of all, the promise that they've made, this oath and this covenant, but also the loving kindness that the Most High has for his people and what he's already done for them at this time. And so again, when we think about the goodness of the Most High and all that he's done and all that he has made available for us, we can't be like the natural man and perceive the ways of the Most High as foolishness. Because if we know anything about anything, we know that anything that's real is really in the spirit realm. Right? That's reality. There's so many distractions that present themselves, in this world that we live in. And there's so many things that pull us and can cause us to potentially move away from the purpose that the Most High has created for us in our lives. But we have to be able to, know and understand that the Most High has made a way for us to be victorious in this life and to go over into the land that he has promised to us if we will only just hold on into his hand. If we will only just allow for that natural stubbornness that exists inside of our natural hearts, if we just allow for that part of us to actually die in the wilderness, in the proverbial wilderness. Because again, looking at Deuteronomy 29, we're looking at Israel coming out of the wilderness, going into the land. And all of the bad, disobedient, faithless parts of Israel as a whole being left in the wilderness. And the empowered, faithful Israel moving over into the land of promise. And so, us looking at this have to be able to understand that, the only way that we're able to be like these people that's walking over into this land is for us to, maintain a life of faith. The Bible tells us that without faith, it's impossible. It's impossible to please Elohim.
Yep.
And so we have to be able to stand fast in our faith in Yeshua, and simply walk out in the empowerment that he's given to us. Because if we don't, right, when we think about this, also in verse 18 over here, where it talks about this idea of this root bearing bitterness and wormwood, when we think about wormwood and this poisonous fruit, it's always about us, kind of falling aside and, receiving judgment because of our, for lack of a better word, curiosity with these other things, that are going on with these other nations, right? When you think about the law of jealousy and the husband who allows for the priest to give his wife the bitter waters, right? Where it talks about, that thing that the reason why she's doing that is because she went astray from her husband, right? And this thing that this judgment that she's given over to either it does nothing, or it causes her to receive that judgment, which is basically for her to rot on the inside. Us outside of our right relationship with Yeshua, is like unto that woman who's rotting on the inside, who's slowly dying, and has been cast off into judgment because of unfaithfulness. And so, it's so important for us, the only thing that the Most High asks for us to do is to trust in Him. He don't want for us to trust in our own strength and capabilities, because we already look and see where that gets us. He only wants for us to trust in the strength and capabilities of the Spirit that He puts inside of us, and the opportunities that He creates for the Spirit inside of us to grow, and that continues when we continue to walk in the Spirit. That continues to cause us to be who he created for us to be. You know, we have it much better. We have it much better than the Israel of old, because they had to depend on their own strength to be able to do these laws, statutes, and commands. But we simply have to trust in the power that the Most High places on the inside of us, and he literally causes us to walk in his ways. All right, so let me just go down. Let's just look at one last thing before we. I want to go down to. I want to go down to verse 26 real quick here. We'll end off looking at this here. Read for us again 26 and 27.
And they went and served other mighty ones, and bowed themselves to them, mighty ones that they did not know, and that he had not given to them. Therefore the displeasure of Yahweh burned against this land, and to bring on it every curse that is written in this book.
Okay, very good. When we think about this right here, where it talks about these other gods that they did not know, and that he had not given to them. It's interesting that when we think about the Most High, and everything that he has done and made available to us, he's shown us himself in so many ways. He's given us every opportunity. We may not be able to say that we know everything about the Most High, but we're able to know the Most High. We're able to know what he likes. We're able to know what he doesn't like, because he tells us everything that we need to know. The Most High has made available to us. And so when we think about these mighty ones that we do not know, that he had not given to us, it's interesting when we think about, all that the Most High has done for us, his people, so that we're able to be who he created for us to be. And then the utter foolishness of the way that we sometimes behave, in the way that we seek after these foreign things that we don't know anything about. Like, he's given to us and made available all that we need to know in regards to him, but yet and still we want to go and and see about what the Muslims is doing over there, or we want to go and see about what the Hindus is doing over there. I don't know if Buddha and Hindus is the same people. Just all these different things that we gotta seek and find out about, when the Most High has made a way for us to know who he is, what he's about, and he made it plain that he has a people that he loves, that once was lost, that he wants to reconnect with, and we yet and still seek to know these other gods that he never has given to us to know. But he's created every opportunity for his own people to know everything about him if we would just accept the knowledge that he's given to us. It's interesting when you think about the people that Moses is talking to, who literally heard the voice of the Most High, who literally seen all of these miraculous wonders and things go on, starting from Egypt and onward. And yet and still, those same people will go on to seek to go after these foreign nations and their gods that they made, that didn't do no miracles, that didn't rescue them from nothing. But again, it goes back to this idea of the condition of our heart. When we with a sincere heart seek to know the Most High, he makes himself known to you.
Yeah.
But until you do that, you could get into some strange things. And the proof is what people do. Like if it don't make any sense for somebody to be able to make a god and then worship the thing that you made. I only want to serve the creator of everything. If I made the God, then I'm creator.
Yeah.
I might as well worship myself at this point.
Most people do.
Some people do, in fact, worship themselves. But we have to get to a place where we have an intimate relationship with the Most High. We have to get to that place of yada, of that knowledge of the Most High, who he is, that intimate relationship, so that when we stand before him, he's able to look at us, and say, my good and faithful servant, and not say, get away from me, you worker of iniquity, I never knew you. Right? I want to know the master, and I want to be known by the master. It got to be two ways, by the way. It can't be just one way, right? It got to be both ways. I want to know him, and I want him to know me, right? I want to be able to enjoy a healthy relationship with my maker. And thankfully, he has created a way where that's possible. And all I have to do is just, go where he takes me. Just go where he takes me. All right. Okay, so does anybody have any questions, comments before we close up here? All right, so that being said, we'll go ahead and be done with our study for today. Y'all willing, everyone will have a blessed week coming up. thank everybody for coming.
Yeah.
Hope that you share the video, like the video, put some comments over in the regular comment section, so that we can get that algorithm popping. And y'all willing, we'll be back on next Shabbat and do this all over again. All right. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
But so low.